All right, welcome back. It's time to hit the query segment, but before we do, we've got a breaking news situation in which Lupin is the stock in focus. The US FDA is apparently set to begin its inspection on the Goa facility of Lupin. What is the significance of that? How important is that Goa facility in the larger context of things for Lupin? Vivek Iyer is joining to tell you all of those things. Vivek, what are you picking up?
Well, the stock in focus is Lupin. Remember, after a very long lull period, Indian pharma companies are once again getting, the US FDA come and visit their sites. On-site physical inspections is what most of the Indian pharma companies are once again getting. Aurobindo recently had an inspection. Now it's the turn of Lupin. Now remember, Lupin has had a pretty sketchy track record when it comes to their compliance with the US FDA. At this point of time, the company has 5 of their plants under the warning letter status, and Goa is one of their most important plants. And even though the company is under the even though this particular plant is under the warning letter status, almost 15 to 20% of the current revenues actually come in from this particular facility. So you can imagine how important this particular plant is. We also understand that a majority of the approvals or majority of the ANDAs that have been filed are from this particular facility. The company has said in a recent conference call with analysts that they have completed the CAPA, that is, most of the remediation measures for this particular facility is complete, and they were awaiting the US FDA audit. So we understand from our sources that the audit has begun today, and it is going to be interesting to see, what is the outcome of this particular audit. It can be a significant trigger for Lupin if the company manages to come out of the regulatory compliance issues that it's been facing for quite some time now.
Absolutely, Vivek, a crucial one coming in, crucial information that you're sharing with our viewers on Lupin, that US FDA on-site audit set to begin for Lupin's Goa facility today, and it is going to be an important trigger for the company as Goa facility contributes about 15 to 20% to the company's revenue. Lupin has told ET now that they would not like to comment on this particular story. So Lupin is one counter that will continue to be in focus in today's trading session. But let's move on and let's get on board our viewer queries, and this one is from YouTube. This one is from Danny Verghese. He wants the views on IOL chemicals for medium to long term. He wants to know, is it the right time to enter this counter? Shahina, what's your take on IOL chemicals? Do you think that it's the right time for Danny to enter this counter now?
I think he should wait for a bit of correction. I see the chart to be a bit bearish. I would wait for the stock to stabilize and maybe pick it up at slightly lower levels, closer to about 500. I would not be buying it at current levels.
Coming back to you, Shaina, on the next one, we've got Thomas V. George from Cochin, Nazara Tech or MTAR Technologies. Those are the 2 stocks that he's talking about. Which of these is the better bet for the long term?
See, valuation and fundamental wise, it's very difficult to comment on these stocks. Like, for example, Nazara, in the gaming space, it is one of the only ones of its kind and definitely a unique play for the longer term. But it's more like it's you have to take a bet, and valuations are extremely expensive and you cannot look at it in terms of numbers as of now. But it has got strong backing, good promoters, even domestic large investors are there in it and supporting it. So I would, buy it and just forget about it for a couple of years. Keep reviewing it unless something really negative happens. One can continue holding.
Okay, this one is from Sagar and he wants a technical view on Vedanta. He's saying he's bought 20,000 shares at 100 rupees when the delisting got failed, and since then the stock has gone up 3 times from that price. So does the stock have the potential to go about 350 levels? Kunal, what's your take on Vedanta? How are the charts looking? We were anyway seeing a stellar run up in this particular counter, but Sagar wants to know, does it have the potential to go surpass the 350 rupees mark?
So there are 2 levels to watch out for Vedanta. Cheryl, one would be around this 370 mark, which was the high the stock made in 2017-18 when the metals rally sort of peaked out. And then the previous major or the all-time high for Vedanta is around 450 odd levels. for the stock on the cash on the spot basis. So I think these are the two levels. Looking at the way metal stocks are poised, the drop in dollar index, and the kind of reactions we're seeing from the metal stocks on every kind of corrective phase, I would sense that Vedanta should be a stock which should be held on. I think if the entire metal rally continues like what we've seen, then Vedanta can also hit a major multi-year high for itself. So would recommend a hold.
Okay. Shaina, coming to you on Tata Steel BSL, I think a lot of people are interested in this stock considering the kind of run-up that it's had in the recent past. But at this juncture, would you say that it's still a good entry price for the long term? Ray wants to know whether it should be bought.
Well, yeah, I think you can add on at current levels. The stock looks pretty good, both fundamentally as well as technically. So you can add on it, and I would give a price target of close to about 100 over the next, in the shorter term actually, not even the very long term, maybe a 3 month view.
Okay, this one is from Vimla George. She wants to know which stock is a better buy. Is it Happiest Mind or Cyient with a 1 year view? Kunal, which of these look good on the charts? If Vimla wants to buy, does it make sense at this time? And which of the stocks should she look at?
Both these stocks are standout performers. So in their own space, for example, Happiest Minds has done phenomenally well. I think run up more than 5 times or 6 times from its listing price. I think Cyient as well has done very well. Over the last I think one and a half odd year. Even this stock has managed to recover quite well. So I think both of these stocks could probably be buy and hold kind of candidates. But specifically from a 1 year performance, I would probably expect Cyient to do slight better. At least the medium-term charts are poised well for Cyient. The stock is confirming a breakout yet again, coming out of a 3 month consolidation for itself. So purely on the medium-term charts, I would expect Cyient to outperform. But as I said, that both these stocks are quality and should be held on, assuming if you have longer-term time frame for both of them.
Okay, Shaina, we've got multiple queries on Vodafone Idea, and I won't go into the specifics of it, but people are holding at less than 10 rupees and significant quantity. One is from Tejas Singh from Chandigarh, and we've got a few other queries. What would you suggest somebody should do with this? It's not really something that I think a lot of analysts have a view on. Would you suggest that there are better plays in the telecom space that you can invest in?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. If you're looking at the long term and if you're looking at fundamentals, then you have both Reliance as well as you have Bharti. Both are doing extremely well as of now, and I would believe that if you are really looking at telecom as a space, then Jio is much better, and even Bharti is really picked up in its own space in terms of both customer addition as well as in terms of their product offering. But if you're looking at technicals and if you want to hold on to Voda, I think if you bought it from a trading point of view, then one can hold on it, put a stop loss of about 6.5 rupees, and try to take the rally. And you just have to go with the news flows that come in. One day we hear it's closing down, and one day we hear that there is some sort of a settlement. So we don't know. So I wouldn't be holding on to Voda, but if you are, then keep a stop loss.
Right. Moving on, this one is for you again, Shahina, and this one is coming from Kunal Kaushik. He's saying, do you suggest to invest in Radico Khaitan and USL for a better growth? He's already invested into USL, so he wants to know whether he should go ahead and add Radico Khaitan to his portfolio as well. What's your suggestion on these counters? If you want to play growth, you think it makes sense to be invested in both?
Yeah, actually, I like the whole space. I have recommended these stocks in the past also. They have, of course, performed. I personally also hold, like, for example, Radico. I think even from here, the valuation is very attractive with a medium to long term view. So I would even hold Radico from here and target about 1050 over the next 3 odd months. At the same time, I would also, you can add United Spirits also to this whole portfolio. There, I believe there's a lot of restructuring that has happened from the management front, and there also I believe you can see a price of about 850 over the medium term. So I think this whole space has got this opportunity of the opening up of the economy and opening up of lockdowns. So one can be invested in this space.
Okay. Kunal, I'm coming to you on this next one. We've got Dr. Subhaya from Chidambaram in Tamil Nadu who's asking a question about Cholamandalam Investment and Finance. He's got 90 shares at a price of 540 and he's asking whether he can hold for the short to medium term. He's asking what the targets are that he should keep in mind.
So I think it's an interesting level where the viewer has bought, because I think at 540, and I would sense that it's a very, very recent trade which the viewer has taken. It's completed a double bottom pattern, and the pattern was almost from 540 to almost 470, 472. So almost a 70-point pattern. Typically, when you see such kind of pattern breakouts, we expect that from those breakout levels, the stock travels at least to the same extent where it had dipped out. So from 540 levels, 610 could be an immediate target range for Chola Finance, and so I would suggest that if you're looking to book out of the trade, then 600, 610 could be a target range for the stock.
This one is from Ajay and this one is for you, Kunal. He wants you to suggest a chemical stock that he should buy with a 1-year view or a 3 to 6 month view. It's either Tata Chemicals, Vinati Organics, or is there any other chemical counter that you can suggest Ajay to buy with a 1-year view?
There are many stocks which have done phenomenally well from the chemical stocks in Navin Fluorine, Alkyl Amines, Deepak Nitrate. These stocks have done phenomenally well. It's difficult to try and pick and choose just one stock from the pack, because these stocks have a tendency of moving into a herd kind of a phenomena where you see cohesive price action coming into many of the stocks. Sometimes, for example, Deepak Nitrate tends to outperform. The other times you have the other peers which tends to outperform. So to try and single out would be very, very difficult. But then there are a few stocks which you can look at buy on dips kind of candidate. I think Tata Chemicals, I've been very bullish on the stock, and I maintain that it's a quality stock, should be a part of your longer term portfolio. Even Deepak Nitrate, the stock which has a rare tendency of going through a sharp periods of correction. So if the stock happens to come back, say another 5% or 10% range lower from current levels, that should be taken as a good opportunity to try and add and average it out further. So many stocks look attractive, difficult to try and single out one. Tata Chemicals and Deepak Nitrate is what I would suggest as a buy and dips candidate.
Shaina, next one's for you. We've got Sunil who's writing in from Muscat, and he's got HIL, which is the former Hyderabad Industries Limited. But he's bought this about 10 years back and he's holding about 300 shares at 450. The stock is currently trading above 5,350. He's saying that he can hold for the long term, but the technical indicators in the short term are not looking too attractive to him. Should he continue holding? What is the potential upside on the fundamentals?
I would suggest he continues holding. The whole space has a lot of opportunity, and I think even technically for the medium to longer term, there is a short term bit of correction, but I think the stock can easily go up to 5,850 levels over maybe a couple of months. So I don't think he should sell as of now. If he does want, he can keep a stop loss. Keep a stop loss of deep stop loss of 4,700, because any which ways his buying price is so low and so attractive. I don't see why he should, unless he needs the money, sell at current levels.
Okay, this one is from Mahesh and this one is for you, Shahina. This was it's on Welspun Corp. He's already holding Welspun Corp in his portfolio. He had bought at 217 rupees per share levels. His analysis is that although the sales growth is diminishing, he's expecting a turnaround considering the demand in the pipeline, especially natural gas, is set to rise. Do you actually concur with this on Welspun Corp, or do you think that it has strong growth ahead?
Well, I think a lot of the business upside is factored into the price. So in the shorter term, maybe over the next couple of months or maybe medium term, I think the stock will consolidate at current levels or maybe even correct from here. And I would see something close to about 100 rupees before it sees the next leg of up move. So if he is holding for maybe the 6 month view, 6 months to 1 year, I would book my profits.
Okay, Kunal, coming to you on Gland Pharma, we've got Rajay Gowda from Bengaluru who's bought 25 shares at levels of 3,900. Would you suggest that they should hold for the medium term?
Well, yes, I believe that it's looking quite attractive. The last 7 months or 8 months on a trot, the stock has delivered good price performance. I think from 2000 or 1700 or 1800 levels, the stock is now at 3900 plus. So it's done steadily well. And I think looks quite attractive. If you get any kind of a correction, so I think 3500 seems to be a good support base for Gland Pharma. So I think the stock happens to come back to that kind of a territory is where I believe you should look to average it out further.
Okay, this one is actually coming in from, I kind of have missed my chat list, but yeah, this one is from Shiva. He wants to know about Delta Corp. He has about 1000 shares which he's purchased at 245 rupees per share. He bought it 3 years back. He wants to know whether he should exit this counter. He needs a technical as well as a fundamental view, but this one I will take to you, Kunal. What should Shiva do with his holding in Delta Corp? 3 years ago he bought it at the price of 245 rupees.
See, I think the monthly charts for Delta Corp, for example, is nearing an indicator pattern breakout. So over the last 7-8 months, the stock has seen a steady recovery. I think this month, starting of this month as well, the stock is trying to do pretty well. It's come back above the 200 levels, but then there is a confirmation which needs to be awaited for an indicator breakout on the monthly or the quarterly charts for Delta Corp, and if that happens, there could be a more higher degree of probability that the stock can even try and come back to 300, 350 plus kind of levels. So I think if you waited long enough, I would suggest wait for maybe another 3 to 6 months. If the stock pattern confirms this indicator breakout on the monthly as well as on the quarterly charts, then you could be looking at a very strong multi-month, multi-year uptick for Delta Corp. So I would suggest a hold as of now.
Okay, Shaina, I'm coming to your next one, which is Bank of Baroda. K. Parthasarthi, who points out that he's a senior citizen and a long-term investor, is holding 500 shares at an average price of 85. So the stock is just, I think, below his buy price right now. He's wondering at the current level, should he hold on, should he sell, or should he average? What are the long-term prospects of this counter?
Well, I think it will consolidate for some time at current levels. I don't see it moving too much either ways. So I would, in fact, if I'm looking at the medium to longer term, and if he really is looking to invest, I would look to switch from here to State Bank of India.
Okay, this one is coming from. This one is from Nino. Actually, Nino is saying good morning. This one is from Kaustav. Kaustav wants a long-term view on M&M. How does it look on the charts? Actually, is what he wants to know, Kunal. How does M&M look on the chart? He's particularly talking about keeping in mind the auto part of M&M's business. But on the chart, how does it look?
I think on the very very near term chart, it looks like that M&M could be a stock which could consolidate. Cheryl, what has been happening is in the last 7-8 months from the Feb highs, many of these auto stocks have gone through a corrective consolidation phase. M&M also no exception. The stock which did pretty well in the first 1 year or first 9 to 10 months from the post March 2020 recovery. From 950 levels, the stock has lost its way somehow. It's been consolidating for the last 6-7 months or so. I believe that near-term chart looks that the stock may consolidate for some more time. But if you're in from a longer-term haul, then dips like these, uncertainties, periods like these should be taken as good opportunities to try and average it out and to be bought into from a longer-term view, because these are classical stocks. When the sector turns around, you will see these stocks hitting back towards their multi-month and lifetime highs as well. So I would suggest a hold on M&M, specifically if it's from a longer term view.
Guys, let's try and slip in a couple more questions. If you can give a quick view, that would be nice. I'm coming to you, Shahina. We've got a question from Sri Kumar on Kalpataru Power, wondering whether to get in. The stock has been quite active of late.
Well, if he's looking at a shorter term view, maybe he should avoid it for now. I see the stock consolidating at current levels.
All right. Let's talk about Indiabulls Housing Finance then. Kunal, 500 shares being held at a price of 278. Can it be held for 1 year? Gopalakrishnan wants to know.
Well, can be held for another 1 year. In fact, I would suggest that if you can extend your time horizon, it'll be much more better. The stock is completing a mean reversion process, just touched back towards its 200 moving average, and I think over the next 6 months to 12 months, the stock should restart a strong medium term to long term uptrend for itself. So it's just a hold.
All right, keeping with the momentum, it's time for the rapid fire segment. As Kunal and Shahina, both of you know, we will be asking you a couple of questions. Quick answers: buy, sell, hold, avoid, or a short rationale also is fine. Let's start with this first question we are getting actually from Ravi Joshi. He wants a view on actually Prestige Estates. How does it look? Does it make sense for someone to buy right now, Kunal?
I'm very bullish on the real estate space. I think should be a good buy.
Kunal, CDSL on the technicals, would you buy or sell?
I would suggest to wait for some more time, let the stock correct and consolidate, come back towards 1000 levels. That could be a good starting point to buy.
This one is from Shanmuga Sundaram, 3M India, 5 shares he's bought at the price of 26,000. Wants to know whether he can hold on for the longer term. What's your take, Shahina?
I don't get the stock actually. 3M. Oh. No, I don't track it.
3M India.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough. The next one is from Durai Swami. He's got 100 shares of Sun Pharma at a rate of 600. He wants a 1 year target. Shahina, can you provide one?
Yeah, I think there's better stocks available, rather than Sun Pharma. At the same time, if he wants to buy it, I would buy it with a target of about 800 rupees with a 6 months target, keeping a stop loss of 707.
This one is from Sumol Prasad. Can I buy Hindalco at current market price with a 3 to 6 month view? What's your take, Kunal?
Yes, I would suggest a buy on Hindalco, and in fact, if you want, you can add even Tata Steel on dips.
Kunal, Embassy Office Park REITs is the counter. Looking for a medium term view, Rajan has got a level of 365.
Well, don't track the stock that often, but I have seen the charts on and off. I feel it looks very attractive.
Okay, this one is Sri Kotan holding SBI Life at 1,130 rupees per share. He's a short-term trader. Wants to know, makes sense to hold on to this one. What's your take, Shahina?
SBI Life, yes, he can hold on to it. I would give a short-term target of the chart is looking very good. I would give a short-term target of 1,400 in the 3-month period.
All right. Shahina, on that note, thank you so much for taking the time. Kunal, as well as always, thank you so much for joining in and for answering all the questions that you did answer. We'll be back tomorrow to take a lot more queries for those of you who posted and who haven't gotten your queries answered. I hope that you benefited from some of the questions that were answered on this program. On that note, we're slipping into a short break. More on the other side, so do stay tuned.